This is a motion for resolution of Parliament to authorize the payment of emoluments and benefits to former members of the Presidential Commission, moved under Rule 55 of the Rules of Procedure of this Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, whereas legal notice number 5 of 1980 established a three-man Presidential Commission comprising His Excellency Justice Saul Msoke, His Excellency Justice Polycarp Nyamuchoncho, and His Excellency Wacha Orwar as the titular head of state. And whereas paragraph 3 of legal notice number 5 of 1980 vested all privileges, prerogatives, functions, and exemptions enjoyed or exercised by the former President of the Republic of Uganda under the Constitution or any other written law in the Presidential Commission effective 12th May 1980. Aware that the Presidential Commission served the country from 22nd May 1980 until 15th December 1980, when the country organized a national election and handed over power to the elected President, Dr. Aboro Milton Obote. Noting that Section 3 of Parliament, Remuneration of Members Act Cap 259, empowers Parliament by a resolution supported by not less than half of the members of Parliament to authorize the payment to a former holder of the office of President or Vice President of an allowance not less than 2/3 of the salary of the President or the Vice President, respectively. Noting further that in 2010, Parliament enacted the Emoluments and Benefits of the President, Vice President, and Prime Minister Act, which under Section 29 provided for the continued application of Section 3 of the Parliament Remuneration of Members Act Cap 259 to Presidents and Vice Presidents who ceased to hold office before the commencement of the 1995 Constitution. Recognizing that former members of the Presidential Commission held the office of President of Uganda and are entitled to the benefits enumerated under the Parliament Remuneration of Members Act Cap 259 through a resolution of Parliament each financial year. Concerned that payment of benefits to the former members of the Presidential Commission was last made in 2017 through a resolution of Parliament. Now, therefore, be it resolved by Parliament that 1. Government fulfills its obligations and pays emoluments and benefits to the following former holders of the office of President under the Uganda National Liberation Front for their respective estates. 1. His Excellency Polycarp Nyamuchoncho. 2. His Excellency Yoweri Hunter Wacha Orwar. And 3. His Excellency Saul Msoke. Second, government makes provision in the budget for the financial year 21-2022 for payment of emoluments and benefits of the 3 members of the Presidential Commission to the tune of 4.5 billion shillings, implying a sum of 1.5 billion shillings for each of the 3 holders of the office of the President under the Uganda National Liberation Front government. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move.
So motion seconded? Seconded. Justification?
Okay. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Justification or explanation for the 1.5 billion shillings for each member of the Presidential Commission and the time frame of payment to the three-way shared presidency under the UNF government. Members, as earlier indicated, Polycarp Nyamuchoncho, Saul Male, and Wacha Orwar. Madam Speaker, legal notice number 5 of 1980 put in place a shared presidency in Uganda. In particular, paragraph 2 and 3 of the legal notice provide thus: there shall be a presidential commission consisting of 3 persons appointed by the military commission, which in that capacity shall be the titular head of state. Subject to paragraph 4, all privileges, prerogatives, functions, and exemptions formerly enjoyed or exercised by the former President of the Republic of Uganda under the Constitution and any other written law are hereby vested in the Presidential Commission with effect from the 12th day of May 1980. Narration. In the case of His Excellency Nyamuchoncho, the death of Captain Karo Businje. Captain Karo Businje was a daughter of Nyamuchoncho. She was the one taking care of the former First Lady. Captain Karo had brought the former First Lady from Rukunjiri to Kajansi on Entebbe Road. This was in a bid to make the former First Lady near her. The former First Lady is in Kajansi even up to now. Captain Karo died in a helicopter crash on the 11th of February 2021 while flying an army helicopter. The death of Karo precipitated the urge to ask for a resolution since she was the bread earner. So the death gave rise to the resolution at this point in time. In the case of the other two members of the Presidential Commission, both the family and their Excellencies Saul Musoke and Wachor War equally need help because the two families have equally lost sons and daughters who were the breadwinners. Good enough, there is a law under which this Parliament is empowered to help, and it's the law under which this motion is brought. Second, the length of time passed since the last resolution. The last resolution, Madam Speaker, was passed 4 years ago. It is worth noting that the applicable law, the Parliament Remuneration of Members Act, does not specify when or how many times a resolution of this kind can be passed. It is therefore as and when conditions of the affected former holder of the office of the Presidency demands. If, for example, in January there was a need for a specified eye operation for such an affected family, a resolution can be passed to get the money. If in June there was another need for a heart surgery, another resolution can equally be passed. So since the last resolution was passed 4 years ago, paying 800 million, the family has used it diligently and the money is finished, hence precipitating this timely resolution. 3, the persuasive 7th schedule in the Act of Emoluments of President, Vice President and Prime Ministers Act 2010. Ideally, this law is only applicable to former holders of the office of the President who held office under the 1995 Constitution. The operation of this schedule, therefore, informs the choice of this timely resolution. This is because if one looks at the routine monthly rights enjoyed under this law, one is bound to conclude that asking for money under the resolution after 4 years is surely justified. Therefore, each and every coin here captured is provided for under this law. National historical reasons, Madam Speaker. Just last week, this Parliament was celebrating 100 years of its existence. These three people played a role in the development of our Parliament. The three were the ones assenting to the laws passed by the then Parliament called the National Consultative Council, then chaired by its Speaker, Professor Gumayo. So we are picking from what they built. The three led this country at a very difficult time, where one brain could not do it. That's why Uganda had to bring 2 judges of the highest court there, then Justice Musoke and Justice Nyamuchoncho, and Wacha Orwor. Equally, an eminent citizen was added to the 2 to form the 3 brains in one to lead Uganda at the time. Madam Speaker, the narration is also presented in figures in item 2, which I may not read, but it is attached to the motion. I beg to move, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Ruth Akelo. Yes, on a point of procedure, Honorable Karubanga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'd like to thank the colleague for this motion. However, I would like to report to the House as follows, that in as far as the law, that is the enumeration of the President, Vice President, and Prime Minister's Act of 2010, does not cater for those past leaders, His Excellency, the President, gave a directive through a cabinet to the Minister of Public Service to make sure that all those former past leaders are given an ex gratia payment, and this one the ministry has done it effectively. And I would like to report that the former presidents, that's Sir Edward Mutesa, Apollo Milton Obote, Idi Amin, late Yusuf Kironde Lule, late Godfrey Kongwa Binaisa, have all got a 1 billion ex gratia payment, including the family of late Okelo Lutwa. The three former titular heads, that's late Justice Saulo Musoke, Joel Hunter Wacha Oruo, the late Justice Nyamuchoncho, each one got 333 billion, because there were three, they shared.
3 trillion?
No, million. They shared the 1 billion. And Right Honorable Speaker, all those three have now died. So I really don't think it would be appropriate to leave out the others. And I don't know whether the law is going to cater for those former heads of states who died. They were given an ex gratia payment through a directive by cabinet. Thank you.
Nevertheless, I think let us have the motion done. We'll give it to you and then you will advise us on how to move. Because I do recall that more than about a month ago, remember I raised here the issue of Mrs. Madina Amin being homeless. So I think let's deal with the motion. Let's finish with the motion first. Then you can tell us about Madina Amin as well. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to second the motion, and I want to thank Honorable Fred for moving this motion. Madam Speaker, this motion touches the hearts of the people in Uganda and the three people who have been mentioned. It as well touches, because when we look, the Justice Polycarp Nyamuchoncho, Saul Musoke, and then Wacha Owol. This is a representation of Uganda. Madam Speaker, these people provided leadership at the time when Uganda needed them most, at a crisis in Uganda, and where leadership could only last for 68 days. When a president could say, Entebbe ewoma, literally meaning power is sweet. The chair, Madam Speaker, that's when Uganda came up with a formula to clear this leadership crisis, that is a shared presidency, was put in place. This consisted of three Ugandans that we are just talking about. Madam Speaker, just like Honorable Fred talked about, the families are struggling, and part of the payment was made. It is only courteous that we do the needful and ensure that really the rest is given unto them. Madam Speaker, the law provides that we as Parliament can pass a resolution to authorize payment to them. This is provided for in Section 3 of the Parliament Remuneration of Members Act. Madam Speaker, I beg to second. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Dur. Let's finish with the motion. Let's finish with the movers, please. We shall come to you. Let them move first. Point of procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the motion was tabled without information that these former leaders had already been taken care of. And then our decision today will not apply retrospectively. If we take a decision today, we will expect that the minister will act by it. So are we proceeding well, Right Honorable Speaker, to continue this motion leading to a decision that these leaders should be taken care of, and yet the government has already taken care of them? Because there was no information, now we have information that they have already been taken care of. Are we proceeding well, Right Honorable Speaker?
Let's finish with the motion. The minister will table the documents if he has them. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm here as well to second this motion, and I want to thank Honorable Betty, represented by Honorable Fred here, for bringing this motion to this House. I also want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for finding space for this motion on the order paper. It is true and very factual that the three gentlemen offered service to this country. It is also true that they have families. Even if they are both dead, they are all dead, the families continue to live. Madam Speaker, the general principles in our Constitution provides for pensions, provides for gratuities to public officers who have served this country. And it is not in dispute that the three gentlemen provided to this country good leadership at the time when the country was experiencing instability. Madam Speaker, you will recall that when these three excellencies led the country, they are the ones who organized the elections in 1980. And if you have paid attention to some of the pictures in our gallery that we are celebrating 100 years, you will see the three gentlemen, and behind them you will see His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. It can then be inferred that those three gentlemen actually mentored the leader, and the country we have today, we owe it to them because they prepared a leader that is leading the country today. Madam Speaker, this is also the first time then that we saw a peaceful transfer of power. At that time, it was possible for them to be selfish. Since they had arrived, they were on top of the country. But after organizing elections, they peacefully handed over, and President Obote took over for his second government. Madam Speaker, these families, as you have heard, the late pilot who died recently in a helicopter crash, and may her soul rest in peace, was now the one taking care of the widow. Similarly, we have survivors of their estates, of the late Justice Saul Musoke and the late Joel Washa Olwol, and they are suffering. And this House is clothed with powers that as and when we feel that the facts are right and they should be helped, this House can pass this motion. So, Madam Speaker, I'm here, and I want to implore you and members that if you interacted with some of these families and you see how they are suffering, then you'll realize that they need to be supported. On the figures that have been mentioned, Madam Speaker, if you divide them by over 4 years, the 300 million that the Honorable Minister has mentioned, it barely comes to about 5 million per month for them. Honestly, over the 4-year period, if you apportion it, and then if you go even deep on per capita basis to see how the survivors are living, then you'll find that at this time we need to support them. So I want to wind up, Madam Speaker, by saying that we have leaders who continue to serve us today, and it is very bad when we leave their families, when they leave behind their families and they suffer, and it becomes a bad example. The family of Wacha Olwol lives in my constituency in Erute County South. I interact with them, they come to me, and I know the problems that they have. I would kindly request the Minister and members to support this motion overwhelmingly so that they benefit. Madam Speaker, I beg to submit.
Okay. That is that Honorable Kyoga? Yes, and then Pachon. Then we shall come to Atat and Ongeto. A 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this motion, and I want to thank the mover of this motion for bringing a proper motion before this august House. Madam Speaker, Uganda has progressed because of contributions of both past and present leaders, and their contributions are indeed very fundamental. Madam Speaker, each of these leaders did what they could do to bring Uganda to where it is today. It is indeed sad, Right Honorable Speaker, that the breadwinner to the former First Lady, Mrs. Nyamuchoncho, Captain Carroll, died in the helicopter crash while on state duty. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the people of Kyoga that I represent in this august House, and on my own behalf, allow me send my condolence to the bereaved family of Captain Carroll. Right Honorable Speaker, the demise of Carroll brings into perspective the state of families of past leaders, especially the titular heads of states that ruled this country under the Presidential Commission. Madam Speaker, 3 weeks ago, as I moved from Amolata to Lira via Amach, the home of His Excellency Wacha Oluol, I had a glance at the home. Right Honorable Speaker, the home is quite dilapidated. I also had the opportunity to interact with the family members. Right away you could see the deplorable state that the home of the former leader is in. These presidencies can still be catered for. So, Right Honorable Speaker, the motion that is before this House, once adopted, can enhance the welfare of these titular heads of state. In my considered opinion, Madam Speaker, I wish to invite honorable members to support this motion, and may it please you, Right Honorable Speaker, that this motion passes. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Chon Ogwar Ongeto.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank my colleagues for thinking about the dead who have served this country. Madam Speaker, I would like to support the motion. As you are aware, in Uganda or Africa, we are blessed with a large family and with children. Some of these members who serve our country, probably each of them could be having over 15 children. Imagine when the money which has been awarded to them, installment, the money comes very little. And you find out of this large family, they all need the share for this money. I would urge you for this government, as the want to support the past leaders, I think they should give something in advance so it would serve the deceased who are no longer with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Bwal.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank the movers of this motion. Right Honorable Speaker, I don't think we need to discuss the importance of this motion and why we should respect our past leaders, regardless of their style of leadership. I know at every stage in our transition, we have experienced disasters upon disasters. And therefore, let us not judge our leaders, particularly now that they are not with us. I therefore would want to urge this House to really have sympathy over the families, the children, particularly the spouses of the former president. However, what I want to ask the Minister of Public Service to clarify to me whether the 1 billion per president, per former president, was actually given. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, you remember when the president directed that some 30 million be given to members of the first parliament, and the late Adoko Nekion appealed to you that although he was a member of the first parliament, he never got the money. When eventually the matter came out, they found that they gave him, I think, either 10 or something less than what the president had directed. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we want to clear this. If 1 billion was given, did it actually arrive in the hands of the family? We want to know. Because we could have probably budgeted for the money, and all of us are assuming that the money has reached, when actually it has not reached. So can we first find that? But secondly, and I think this is more important, when we are catering for people who are aged, it's important that we should focus on pension and medical insurance. Because if you give somebody lump sum, is the children or the relatives who are going to manage this money, and we don't know how far this money will take them. It's important we take care of these people through pension scheme, through medical insurance, so that they will be able to regularly attend to their health and also be able to have some little money to facilitate other things in the home. I beg to request for that clarification, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Ngeto, and then I'll call the Minister. Wakabudindi? Okay. Honorable Ngeto, Okupa, Wakabudindi, then the Minister. Okay, Rakojo. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know as a country we have had problems in changes of governments. But I want to thank this government for the fact that despite those problems, we have moved ahead, and as we speak, past leaders are being supported in one way or the other. There can be situations where probably they are not supported the way they should be, and that is why such a motion has come in. I support the motion, but let it also be very clear to these families when such an amount of money is being given to them. We are hearing of the 1 billion which is shared between the three families. Let it also be very clear to them what that money is meant for, so that they know. And I want us to reach a point at which we don't have to be coming to Parliament here to plead for each of the families. It has to be very clear what is due to them. And also, I want to be unkind somehow to some of the family members. If the government is very clear on certain things and you have got it, I don't think we need to come back here and start to feel like we have not been supported, when actually we have squandered the money. That is the point at which I wanted to be a little bit unkind. But all in all, I support the motion. Let everything be very clear right from the beginning. The family knows, and they know that it starts here and it ends here. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Cooper.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I stand here to support the motion. First, I think on humanitarian grounds, we should be able to see to it that as these people, the widows, age, as they gear into they are helped. These are old women, grandmothers, who in most cases people tend to neglect and ignore. So I would want to appeal to the Minister of Public Service, Minister of Finance, and the government side to really take this seriously. Madam Speaker, I just want to bring to the attention of the Minister of Public Service, who was trying to make an objection. I don't know whether he's aware that in 2018, after Parliament had passed a resolution for the payment of those, government was reluctant to pay. It took the families of Andrew Musoke, Nyamchoncho, to take the Attorney General, the Permanent Secretary of Public Service, Minister of Public Service, and the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Finance, to court. And the court ruled thus that an order of certiorari issues quashing the letter or decision of 8th May 2017 by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Public Service, directing the non-payment of the applicants. B, an order of Madama's issues directing the second respondent, that's the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Public Service, and third respondent, the Permanent Secretary and Secretary of Treasury, Minister of Finance and Economic Development, to pay applicants the said money as per the resolution of Parliament. C, court declares that the estates of the deceased former holders of the office of the President of the Republic of Uganda are legally entitled to receive payments of the benefits under Section 3 of the Parliament or the Remuneration of Members Act. The application is allowed with costs against the respondents, that the decretal sum and cost shall from 8 months of the non-payment of all monies due and attract the interest of 15% per annum on that fraction left unpaid, given under my hand and the seal of this honorable court on the 5th day of October 2018 by the judge. So I just want to know, because this also they tried to appeal, but these orders were upheld. So we want to avoid the situation again when today we pass this resolution, you are taken to court. These are just 3 families, these widows should really be taken care of. So I just wanted to bring to the attention of the minister whether he's aware of those things. I could into details, but the minister may interest himself to those. So we don't want to see that happen. It's a few, 3 families. If you don't want to go further, you can limit it to the widows. And I don't want it to be taken like we don't regard these old women, or maybe you want to treat them because they are women. Is that why you want to treat them that way? So, Right Honourable Speaker, I just wanted to give this information to the minister, that please have a human heart and see how we can be able to take care of the former first ladies. It will be embarrassing when these old women pass and you are bringing them here to lay to state how much money will you spend on them if they died in the state they are in. You have heard the circumstances, how even those ones who were taking care of them passed on, especially the pilot who crashed. So thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I felt I should give that to.
Now, Wakabulindi, then Honourable Akojo, then the Minister.
Thanks very much, Right Honourable Speaker. And I want to thank the honourable member who brought this motion.
And also I want to thank my colleague, the Honourable Minister, for the explanation that you have given. However, I'm looking at the situation where you are applying your mathematics of the past leader getting 1 billion, and because these people were acting, 3 of them, you divide the 1 billion into the 3. Right, Honourable Speaker, I represent workers. If you send me on a mission as a member of parliament, you give me per diem as per my entitlement per day. Even though we go 5 members of parliament, the same mission, you would pay the same to each. So to me, to make the equation and to respect those people who did that wonderful job, let each one be given the 1 billion. So that means the widows should be given their fraction and be treated equally. Because all the 3, when they were acting as president, each one was waking up in the morning and putting on like a president and taking action like a president. So the business of dividing into 3 does not apply. That's the only thing that I would wish to see being rectified. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Akojo.
Madam Speaker, I stand here particularly because Mr. Joel Watcher was our neighbor when I was in P1. We used to run through his compound on Mugwanya Road in Entebbe, going to Lake Victoria Primary School. We were just 2 houses next to the school. He was a parent, but we realized at the time that he was still someone very important in government, and he continued. I stand to support the motion. And I think it's only fair that past leaders, having sacrificed so much leading the country selflessly, should be rewarded, even if these benefits are posthumous. If he had been alive today, he would probably be in his late 90s or maybe close to 100 years. And it is very difficult at this age to have bargaining power. So really, considering that at the time when he had the capacity, he put in all for the nation, as did his colleagues, I think the 3 of them should be respected and given those amounts of money. It is unfair to give a third of what others get as a whole. I so submit, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Karubanga.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I'd like to thank the members who have presented their views, but I also want to inform the House that, Right Honourable Speaker, about a month ago, when the Deputy Speaker was in the chair, this issue came up, and we were directed by the House to present a statement. Our statement is ready, and it would give a clear picture of what happened. First of all, the categories are many. We have 9 former presidents. We have 5 former vice presidents. We have 4 former prime ministers, 3 former speakers, and 2 former deputy speakers. These were all not catered for by the remuneration of the President, Vice President, and the Prime Minister's Act of 2010. So if we come out and say we are only picking the 3, the other ones will also open a Pandora box. Right Honourable Speaker, the impression created by this motion was like government has not done its part. I'd like to say that some of these families have actually had challenges even in sharing the money. We've channeled some of the funds to the Administrator General, the Administrator General's office, because of the challenges, the big sizes and what. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I'd like to request the House we present this statement tomorrow so that maybe members can have a clear picture of the obligations our government has really undertaken. And Right Honourable Speaker, there was an issue from
Point of procedure. Which rule?
Arise under procedural matter, Right Honorable Speaker. The minister is talking about bringing a statement in response to what was raised in this parliament last week. But we have a motion before us. And we want the minister first to dispose of this motion. Then he can come up with that issue, because that was there before. And the minister is also aware that this motion has been on the order paper for a very long time. And definitely he ought to have communicated to Parliament that he was already aware of this particular motion and that he was now going to bring a statement which would take care of all the issues raised. So the very fact that he was not able to tie this motion to the other question that was raised, Right Honorable Speaker, as a matter of procedure, I would like you to guide whether it would not be procedurally right for the minister first to dispose of this matter, and then the 300 million shared, or the 1 billion shared between three, is now talking about complication with the Administrator General and what have you, which again raises even greater fear that although we are being told that the money was released, it's possible the money was never released. Because why is he raising the issue of Administrator General on money which had already been given, and many of them had their spouses still alive? So what happened? So Right Honorable Speaker, we would like this matter to be dealt with, disposed of, then the minister can come with other issues. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to seek your guidance.
Minister of Finance.
Right Honorable Speaker, I had really thought for the indulgence of the House to give us tomorrow and we present this statement because it is elaborate enough. It was given to us by the House, and the House plans for the business as the minister were given the assignment, and our statement is ready.
But Minister, you did not tell us that you are ready, because if you were, you'd be on the order paper. It's difficult for us to guess who is ready and who is not. Yes, Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to make this short intervention. When we last moved this motion, Parliament passed this motion, it was at a time when actually the budget had already been approved, and it created some difficult situation for us to look for resources for people who served this country at a time that we did not have it. For me, I think probably consulting with my colleague, the Minister of Public Service, probably it would be better for us to come and amend the Act and include those that are supposed to be included, so that we plan properly. Because recently I met Honorable Haji Moses Chigongo, who was the Speaker NRC. He told me that him and Butajira, Right Honorable Butajira, were neglected by the law that eliminates the privileges of speakers. So I think it's important that probably my colleague, Honorable Karubanga, we work on amending the law. We bring it here so that we plan properly for these past leaders, and we sort it out once and for all. So I think, Madam Speaker, will consult with our colleagues and come up and see the fine way of doing this, rather than delaying on, or rather basing on motions every time we have to sort out this matter.
Okay, no, members, in any event, the motion is here. It has been presented and debated. I now put the question that this House will adopt the motion. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it. Now, Honorable Karubanga, I was also going to tell you that one of the former speakers is about to sue us, to sue the government, you people. It's considering going to court. And it's a long time since we talked about these matters. So I think, I don't know when you can bring the law. Of course, this parliament is about to end. Don't know when you can produce the bill, take it for first reading, go to the committee. I don't see it happening before August or September. So please, you can bring your statement tomorrow, but in the meantime, this motion we have adopted, bring the statement, we shall look at it, and then give further guidance. Thank you very much.
Item number 5 on the order paper, bills second reading, the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019.
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, honourable colleagues, allow me to state that I'm withdrawing the National Health Insurance Bill 2019 from Parliament under Rule 139 of our Rules of Procedure. Right Honourable Speaker, this is to bring to your attention that on 22nd of August 2019, the National Health Insurance Bill 2019 was tabled on the floor of Parliament for the first reading. Following this, Right Honourable Speaker, HE the President held a meeting with the Minister of Health and other key stakeholders from the private sector, the National Social Security Fund, and the Insurance Regulatory Authority to confirm whether all key stakeholders were in consensus. However, it came out that some key stakeholders from the private sector were still not in agreement with the provisions under Part 5, contributions and benefits in the bill, yet this was the core objective of the National Health Insurance Scheme, to pool resources from various categories of the population and ensure gross subsidies. Right Honourable Speaker and members, as a ministry, I'm requesting the House to allow us to withdraw the Health Insurance Bill 2019. The ministry, in collaboration with other key stakeholders, is undertaking further consultations and analysis of the premium based on the interim actuarial study conducted by the Insurance Regulatory Authority in collaboration with the Ministry of Health 2019. We expect to reintroduce this bill when this outstanding issue is concluded to ensure universal enrollment of the population of Uganda under the National Health Insurance Scheme. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move.
Okay. Honourable Member, of course, I want to draw your attention to the proviso subject to the approval of the House. So let's hear the members' views on your request. Yes, the subject to the approval of the House.
Madam Speaker, I think you have read the rule. It's subject to House approval. Madam Speaker, I want to object to that withdrawal. Madam Speaker, the Minister stated the reasons that the stakeholders were not on board. Of course, stakeholders cannot agree on everything. Madam Speaker, this matter went to the committee, and the stakeholders all were consulted. Even before bringing the bill here, my perception is that the ministry consulted with the stakeholders in the process of producing this bill. So they were consulted. That's how the bill ended. Unless the minister is telling us now that they just started in the ministry and decided to bring the bill, which I don't think was the case. Madam Speaker, Committee of Parliament is a place where all these bills are processed, and interaction with all the stakeholders is brought on board. So, Madam Speaker, I'm here to say I think Ugandans need need insurance. We would not even be talking of the previous case which we were talking about, of the former first, of the first lady, because this would have taken care of her ailments if we had this in place. But for now, at this time, the minister to come and say, or the government to come and say, they are withdrawing. Madam Speaker, I think this is being unfair to Ugandans. We should not be driven by the profit-motivated stakeholders to derail and delay Ugandans from having medical insurance. I take the information, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Kamusime. Ushabe. Kasbat? Is that Kasbat? Abigail.
Thank you very much, Madam
Angura.
Speaker, and I thank my honorable colleague
Arinda. Okay.
for giving me an opportunity to give this information. Madam Speaker and honorable members, the information I want to give is that when this bill was sent to the committee, thorough investigations and consultations were done, and a total number of 30 stakeholders were interacted with. The committee interacted with 30 stakeholders, and for this purpose, Madam Speaker, I want to inform the House that all the stakeholders that the Minister has talked about interacted with the committee, including the Insurance Regulatory Authority, National Social Security Fund, and others, a total of 30. Madam Speaker and members, the committee reviewed relevant literature of about 17 pieces, including our Constitution and other literature. The committee also held regional consultations in southwestern Uganda, east and central, and the committee went ahead to do benchmark visits in some counties of Kenya which are doing well here in this field, like Machakos, Kitui, and Nairobi. So in general, the consultations were made. Now, Madam Speaker, I want to say that this was the hope Ugandans had, that even the poor can be assisted to access health services, because we know that people are frustrated. They don't have good income, and calamities can befall this country, or even sickness in their family. So, Madam Speaker, that's the information I wanted to give my member, and particularly, I don't support the withdrawal of this bill at this particular moment. I thank you.
No, Mukitare? Oh, yep. I'm finished. Okay.
Madam Speaker, I think the information that the House has received puts stress to the concerns which the Minister has raised, unless she can list to us those stakeholders who were not consulted. Because now if the committee has listed 30 stakeholders, met even regional meetings, so I don't know which are the stakeholders. I know the minister is one here, but the former minister in the education, I can see Honorable Opendi, maybe she's the one who consulted, and the minister, current minister, was not there. So we would be able to benefit from them. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the members who have given information. Thank you.
Let's hear.
Government should up to now be committed in terms of having the will about the challenges of all citizens in the matters of health. This matter has been in Parliament for over 10 years, the debates about the health insurance bill. The previous two parliaments discussed this. So when the bill came, it gave hope to citizens that actual government finally is serious, and looking at the neighbors who have already implemented this, it was giving hope. Already it has been stated that as long as the bill has gone to the committee, it is another level of consultation. And if anybody did not at the initial stage of the executive do enough consultation, the right place is now the committee. And even when we come back on the floor, after the committee reports, the executive still can make an input. So I'm wondering why that change of heart, because we are giving a very a mixed message, whether government is committed or not, because it cannot be now the question of what some private sector, some stakeholders are raising a complaint. I would like to plead with the minister and the executive that please don't send a wrong signal and a mixed message to citizens that government is not, after all, committed to the health insurance commitment covering all the citizenry, so that let whatever submission is pending, actually I would like to pray that, Right Honorable Speaker, you give committee order paper to report the findings so far, because what we have heard from the committee, already a lot of work has been done, and then at that stage is when we can weigh. So since there's a proviso that the withdrawal is subject to the plenary decision, I pray that the minister concedes. Actually, you direct that the committee does the report, and at that stage, after listening to the report, the executive can come in with whatever value addition they want to make. I so submit, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Minister, Honourable Opendi.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I spent 8 years as Minister of State in the Ministry of Health. And for most of this time, the Ministry of Health, by the time I joined in 2011, they had tried to have a national health insurance scheme. It took us time to push this to where finally we were able to table a national health insurance bill. There was wide consultation, Right Honourable Speaker. I am surprised that now we are moving back because some people are complaining, because some insurance companies feel they were not consulted. At what point should they have been consulted? We consulted widely in the Ministry of Health, and when we tabled this to Cabinet, we had to again go back and change and consulted again widely and brought the bill here. I believe the committee also consulted widely. Madam Speaker, while we are providing health care to citizens and talking about free primary health care, we all know that most of the Ugandans still spend money from their pockets. Actually, the out-of-pocket expenditure is close to 40%, which is quite high. So this health insurance would go a long way in curing that, removing this under-the-table payment that is currently happening, and somebody walks into a health facility and is able to get health services anywhere. We also know that the government does not have adequate resources to put into the health care. So with a small contribution from the citizens, we shall be able to meet all these health expenditures that the government is supposed to meet. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to propose to my colleague, since the committee has gone a long way in consulting on this matter, and all these stakeholders that we are talking about were consulted, I pray, Madam Speaker, that we move on. Uganda is the only country, if I'm not mistaken, that does not have a health insurance in this region. And Ugandans, Madam Speaker, have gone ahead to have their own small health insurance schemes at community level. This has started. We have a case study in, I think it is Kinkizi. We have another community health insurance in Luwero. We have other health insurances that people come up with small monies that they put to be able. Let me take the information, then I conclude.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sarah Opendi, for having your facts on the Right Honorable Speaker. The information I wanted to give Honorable Sarah is that the Minister of Health has indicated that she's withdrawing because of complaints in Part 5. Complaints in Part 5. And Right Honorable Speaker, Part 5 is talking about contributions and benefits. can the minister, the former Minister of Health, the Minister of Minerals now, throw some lights?
No.
Madam Speaker, as she concludes, because the reasons she's giving, the minister is giving, is a weak reason, Madam Speaker. So the person with experience in the sector can also...
No, don't go there. Please conclude.
So, Madam Speaker, I want to request my colleague to concede and we move on, and then address, if we reach a particular clause where you have objections, then we shall be able to listen and make adjustments accordingly. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, it has taken us a long time and we need to move and have a national health insurance in this country.
Okay. All members have the question that the question be put. I put the question that the bill be withdrawn. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Noes have it. Minister, I direct you to go to the second reading. If the minister is not ready, can the chair report?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I know that the House has been waiting for this for long, and I know I have taken note of all the concerns of members. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to beg that you allow me to go back and come back tomorrow. Yes. So that we can put our heads together. I know Honorable Pende has been in the ministry for quite some long, but there are a number of things that have since changed. Colleagues, I request that you allow me
Madam
to come back
Speaker,
tomorrow.
Point of order. Point of order.
Madam Speaker, your decision, which you have just made, that we move to the second reading and that the chairman reports, cannot be challenged in the manner the minister is attempting to do. Is she therefore in order to challenge your decision in the way she is doing?
Honourable Minister, this matter has been on the order paper for a long time. A lot of work has been done. You know why you brought the law. The objectives are clear. If you are not able to state them, let me invite the chair to move for the second reading and then we move. And I'm comforted that if there are objections, after when the bill goes to assent, the President has opportunity to change. So let us proceed.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and members. Madam Speaker, before I read the bill, I'd like to allay anxiety concerning Section 5. Can I just read?
Don't go there, no.
Okay,
Please
thank you very much. Well,
just move for second reading. It's more.
Okay, Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
I stand here to present a report of the Parliamentary Committee on Health on the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019. And I have a copy of a committee report and a copy of the minutes of the different meetings that were held, which, Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table before I read.
Okay. Honorable Chair, first move a motion for second reading. If it is seconded, then you present the report.
Motion on the report. Yes, yes.
I beg to move
I beg to move
that the National
National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019
be read for
be read for the second time.
Honourable members, is it seconded? Seconded. Proceed with your report.
Okay, I proceed with the report after I've read the minutes as evidenced earlier.
Okay.
Right, Honourable Speaker and Honourable members, I'm going to read an abridged version since we have copies on the iPad. I won't go through the whole of the report. The National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019 was read for the first time on Thursday, 22nd August 2019, and referred to the Committee on Health for scrutiny in accordance with Article 90 of the Constitution and Rule 185C of the Rules of Procedure. The committee scrutinized the bill and now reports. Madam Speaker, I'm going to read a bit of the background and skip the objects and methodology. According to the Ministry of Health 2018 Midterm Review Report for the Health Sector Development Plan 2015-16, 19-20, Ugandans spend 41% of household incomes in health care, and this lies within the catastrophic expenditure zone for above the 15% recommended by the WHO. Thus, Uganda's population is ranked highest in out-of-pocket costs for health in East and Southern African region. In line with SDG 3, Target 3.8, many countries have introduced national health insurance schemes as vehicles for achieving universal health coverage through accelerating equity of access to health services and ensuring financial risk protection of the masses through reducing out-of-pocket expenditure on health care. National health insurance schemes are internationally recognized as springboards for attainment of the fundamental right to health through ensuring availability, accessibility, acceptability, affordability, equity, equality, and quality health services. Despite government's effort to increase the number and quality of public health facilities in the country, there are still issues to deliver on the demands, and that would come with the introductions of NHIS. In October 2018, Uganda signed the Astana Declaration on Universal Health Coverage, which affirmed the tenets of primary health care that should be anchored in the National Health Insurance Scheme. This law is thus a great intervention in providing inclusive health coverage for the vulnerable people, in cushioning them against the high cost of health care offered by expensive private health care providers. Although private health insurers and community-based health insurance providers serve to cushion their members from adverse effects of high cost of health in parts of the country, they are not regulated. Owing to the above, the government, through the Ministry of Health, recognized the need for a legal framework on health insurance as a complementary mechanism for financing health care and increasing equitable access to quality health services in Uganda. Hence, the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019 was introduced. As a financing mechanism, the law, once assented to, would achieve the pooling of resources, subsidization of treatment of the poor by the rich, harmonization of the prices for health care throughout Uganda, and increased absorption of the health workers in the health sector. Madam Speaker, the objects of the bill are known in the bill which was received. The methodology is also outlined, and the list of stakeholders interacted with is also outlined. Madam Speaker, I will then go to the general observations and recommendations, where we found that the bill was in compliance with the Constitution, compliance with the international and human rights frameworks. It ensured multi-sectoral collaboration. It is well aligned with NDP 3, It is linked well with the SDG goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, and we recommended that the bill be passed into law since its provisions are in direct agreement with various national, regional, and international instruments and protocols. Madam Speaker, we learned from consultative meetings with community health insurance, and we also recommended as a team that given the critical complementary roles of the private sector, the bill should provide for the complementary role of the community health insurance in the national insurance law. Madam Speaker, I go to the specific observations which talk about, first was the 6.1 definition of key terms, which are listed as accreditation, beneficiary, child, employer, ingredients, quality assurance, healthcare provider, indigents, and we recommended that all key terms used in the bill should be properly and appropriately defined in order to avoid ambiguity, and the terminologies existing in other legislations that have not featured in the bill should be harmonized to avoid misinterpretation. And the regulations issued by the minister should feature aspects of quality assurance from the quality of care. On membership of the scheme, the committee recommended that the bill should stipulate the aspect of membership with the view of having all citizens and residents insured under the scheme. On functions of the scheme, the committee recommended that important functions of the scheme, such as registration of members, designing of healthcare packages, and issuance of guidelines, should be included in the bill. On appointments of the board of directors of the scheme, the committee recommended that the relevant stakeholders should nominate persons for appointment to the board of the directors. The private sector should also be represented, that the board membership should be limited to 9 members. And on the functions of the board, the committee recommended that the functions of the board of the scheme must be clearly outlined in the law and in the charter of the board. On the powers of the minister, the committee recommended that the powers of the minister, of the line minister, should be limited to the appointment of the board and provision of policy direction, and that the chief executive officer of the scheme should be appointed by the board. Multiple stakes in the scheme management. The committee recommended that the scheme should be hosted under the Ministry of Health with a multi-sectoral composition of the board to cater for all stakeholders, for all state stakeholders, and the revenue in the reserve fund shall be invested as recommended by the board on approval by the minister. On the need to regulate the private sector in health service delivery, the committee recommended that government should put in place adequate regulation for private players in the health and strengthen the public health system, which remains the first call for the vulnerable poor. On the uncertainty of coverage of the informal sector, the committee recommended that membership to the scheme should be compulsory to all. On contributions and premiums, the committee recommended that actuarial valuations or studies should form the basis of determining the initial premiums for purposes of affordability and fairness and in compliance with the existing legal frameworks. On the selective accreditation of health facilities, the committee recommended that all health service providers to the scheme should be subject to accreditation to ensure quality and eligibility fairness. On benefits packages of the scheme, the committee recommended that the minister should make regular modifications to the healthcare packages in the schedules that were attached based on the periodic valuations and availability of resources. On the inconsistencies in the penalties for offenses, the committee recommended the uniformity of penalty for late payment should be administered across board to ensure fairness amongst contributors of the scheme. And on the suspension of healthcare providers, the committee recommended that the misconduct of an individual should not be visited on an entire health service provider. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, The Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I propose that the bill be passed into law subject to the proposed amendments. I beg to propose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair and members of the Health Committee. Let's have your comments. Honourable Babiku, Honourable Kainsa, Honourable Asamo. Let's start there. Okay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. I want to thank the committee and the chair for the report, and also Ministry of Health for this bill. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, my understanding is we are coming to terms to accept that there's nothing for free. Because when we look at the services we get from health and also in other sectors, there is expenditure that is attached to it. But through this bill, what we are trying to achieve is to ensure that even the poor can access better service. Right Honourable Speaker, therefore I support the committee's recommendation, but we need to come with the nitty-gritties, the mechanisms on how we can pool our resources together, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to cite the example of taxation, where people are supposed to pay taxes, but you'll find that it is the most capable people who evade, who try their best to evade payment of taxes. Now that we are going to pool our resources together if this bill comes to a law and we want to achieve our target. Therefore, I think the mechanism, Right Honourable Speaker, should be clearly explained so that we can put our input. Right Honourable Speaker, we have different levels of health services that we have. We have at the national level, but we also have still challenges, for example, at Paris level. I want that clarity to at least know how the people at Paris level are going to be able to benefit from this mode of services or mode of scheme, because Ministry of Health is phasing out the health center tools. And Right Honourable Speaker, this is a very big gap that we are battling with. Right Honourable Speaker, we have been relying on the support given by volunteers, the village health team members, who are trying to support the health structure. But still there are a lot of challenges. People are asking about allowances. So how is this structure, the new structure, going to be manned? When we begin to implement such a method, our people from the national level up to Paris level will be able to access this service. Right Honourable Speaker, those are the two areas of my concern. But I think the last comment I want to put is, it needs a political commitment to accept that there is expenditure that the locals have to put in place for them to receive services. The emphasis we have been putting that our people are so poor and services have to reach them, Right Honourable Speaker, have failed us oftenly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As I invited Honourable Kainsa, I don't know this issue of phasing out the health center tools. I don't know whether it was based on research, because up to now, in my constituency in Kamuli, the demand for health center tools is going on. So I don't know where they got the research from. Honourable Kainsa Asamo, Pentagon, Oshabe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I've got you.
I support the motion to uphold the National Health Insurance Scheme
Madam Speaker, as a country, we are signatories to international protocols. The Maputo Protocol, where each of our countries is supposed to allocate 15% of their budget to health. Some of us think this was a big step towards the attainment of that budgetary allocation. At the moment, we are at 7%. So some of us think that if we carried on with the National Health Insurance Scheme and we have citizens pool, depending on their level of income, this would benefit us as a country, but more so, it would also benefit the poor in the community, the indigents, because once we pool this money, it would be easier for them to access services that would not be in their reach. Madam Speaker, as a country which subscribes the Sustainable Development Goals, Sustainable Development Goal 3 is to ensure well-being for all and at all ages. We are now in an era of corona. In fact, actually, if our budget went high this financial year, or the ending financial, it would be because of the monies that have been allocated to corona. But prior that, our budget was so low. And how do we ensure well-being for all at all ages if as a country we don't come up with mechanisms of mobilizing resources? Maybe our as a country would be bring this insurance scheme on board at once, but would even have it in a phased manner. We would, for instance, start with the government employees, those whose salaries are directly drawn from the consolidated fund, and with time, we think of bringing the private sector on board. Madam Speaker, in our health facilities, it's true that people pay money under the table. Those are the resources we want to bring together and pool so that we even avoid such tendencies in the health facilities. And it would help ensure that people get quality services. In some countries, like in Kenya, they decide to pool the money for a year. So when it comes to, because some people may ask, the health system, we don't have all the infrastructure in the health system, but if we pooled enough money in this basket, the board can sit and they decide to have part of the money go to building infrastructure in the facilities, improving the maternity wards, the pediatric wings, and the rest. So, Madam Speaker, I support this initiative, and I pray that to show the goodwill towards the health sector, the Cabinet should revisit the decision it had taken on this issue, because it would actually, even in the campaigns, for us, when you move in the communities, the islands and highlands are too much. The health sector.
Honorable Asamo, then Honorable Pentagon Kamusime, Oshave, Mukitare, Amongin, Gomba, Onosengo. Okay, I've seen you ladies. I've seen you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I stand to support the report of the committee. And when I came and saw this was on other paper, I was very happy. I was only getting discouraged when my sister, the Honourable Minister, said she was withdrawing, and I was wondering how Ugandans have been waiting for this. Madam Speaker, health is wealth. When you have a sick community which cannot get health, then there's a problem that will always remain in a poverty cycle. I want to add my voice, Madam Speaker. My Committee of Equal Opportunities, we went to study the issues of equity in education, equity in health, equity in service delivery, and we went to one of the minority tribes in Kenya, the Maasai. Madam Speaker, we are overwhelmed. The insurance program in that place brings in everybody depending on the proportions of contributions. And the governor told us that if somebody is poor and has got his goat, he brings, and one day you decide to make a day where you are selling all these things and this money will be pooled. And people have some certain things. We cannot hide here that people in Uganda are not contributing money. They are contributing a lot of money. But, Madam Speaker, just look at the case that was in Soroti when they operated this lady. Traveling from Amuria to Kampala here, they failed to whatever they told her, go back, let the child die. One died all right, the other one came. A lot of money in the process by that person. Supposing it was an insurance health scheme, I think that would have not been a problem. So, Madam Speaker, I think
the government, the cabinet, should know that we are thinking about the poor people. And once our poor people come out of health situations, this country is going to progress. So I want to beg that the way the minister was talking, already the high-class people have different insurances. Private sectors have. In Parliament here we have assurance scheme. Government institutions have. Why are we worried if this can support even the poor of the poorest? So me, Madam Speaker, I support this because it's going a long way to support Ugandans who are down there. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Kamusime, Pentagon. Samba Oshabe. Then Mukitale. Arinda, but you're a member of the committee. God, sorry, you're a member of the committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and honourable members, at this particular moment in time, I don't think that the matter of National Health Insurance Scheme should be debatable, because I don't expect anybody to say no and others saying yes. All of us must know, and we know, there are big problems out there. And I want to exonerate the minister in this fracas. The Honourable Minister, Honourable Nabanja, cannot hold this idea herself. She's a member of cabinet, and I'm sure she was representing some view from somewhere, because she's my neighbor, she likes health promotion, she has constructed health facilities herself, so I think we should see her in her capacity as a minister representing a certain opinion, not hers. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker and honourable members, there are people who can hit this thing down, because in this country some people are more privileged than others. There are those who can manage to have a tooth extraction overseas. Yet our local mothers in the village cannot have somewhere safe to deliver a baby for this country. And it is on this platform that, Madam Speaker, I thank you so much for the kind of love you have for this country. And your ruling in such a matter and guidance gives me hope that tomorrow my children and grandchildren will have a great future. Thank you for securing the future of this country. Madam Speaker and honourable members, this bill is going to rescue government, because we have had a lot of pressure on our health system because of limited funding. It is equally going to rescue the politicians. Madam Speaker and members, tell me who has spent 2 days without being requested or even supporting somebody going for treatment in our constituencies there. Madam Speaker, this is an opportunity for our local people, the Montuawansi, to also get equal treatment. We have a problem. The much mushrooming of medical quacks is because people cannot afford medical care in a more understandable and probably with more educated health staff. So they end up going to the quacks who are cheap, but at the end of the day, the result is more harm than good. And we are losing a lot of people because they are going to quacks thinking they are going to get cheap treatment. So, Madam Speaker, it's on this opportunity that I think that we should even move a motion to go to the next stage so that we can pass the bill as soon as possible and Ugandans at least get something.
Thank you. Honorable Oshabe. Oshabe, Mongin, Jacqueline, Onamede, Gomba, Unihira, Kamateka, and finally the Leader of Opposition.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you so much for guiding this House under the circumstances. Right Honourable Speaker, as a new Member of Parliament, when I just joined here, I was put on health insurance. And one of the members told me a story that when you were introducing insurance for members of Parliament, there is a group that never wanted your members, to have insurance. Probably it could be the same group that do not want Ugandans to be insured. Right Honourable Speaker, when you look at the quality health care provided in this country, much of it is concentrated in urban centers, more so in Kampala here. This is where you find good laboratories. This is where you find good physicians. And the reason is simple. It does not make economic sense in rural areas. But Right Honourable Speaker, once we have an insurance scheme, people will invest in health care looking at an opportunity of reaching out even to the farthest person. I want the Minister to appreciate that her ministry tries to provide health care, but quite often what you provide is always wanting. Even at the health center 2s, even at health center 3s, what you provide is so insufficient. What about a situation that other care service providers can come through on insurance and they are sure that once I treat this person, I will gain my payment? Right Honourable Speaker, I think this is one of the key outputs of this Parliament that we will have that minds the people of Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker, the bill talks about ensuring that whatever is provided to the rural person, Right Honourable Speaker, is of quality. And that's what we are looking at. For us who are coming from rural areas, we want a Uganda where even where I come from in Karwana sub-county, if I needed serious health care, I can access it. And the only opportunity we have is, Madam Speaker, pooling resources where the poor and the rich can contribute to the health care of our people. Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker.
Mukitale, Amongin, Honourable Sengo, Amede, Kunihira, Kamateka, and the Loop.
Right Honourable Speaker, what better way can the 10th Parliament have a climax than giving the citizens of this country the health insurance scheme law by the close of this Parliament? I would even pray that the President has sent before the State of National Address, so that before we have the budget speech, we assure the country that the 10th Parliament has been a pro-poor, as by the sustainable development goals, participation and inclusion of everybody, a progressive contribution, a contributory health scheme where the richer pays more than the poor. Even if it was a tax, that would be a canon of a good tax. Honourable Speaker, thank you so much, and I want to thank the committee for giving us that hope again as citizens. Honourable Speaker, it is also a good financial management system. It does not only fight the corruption in our health system. We have taken lessons from the COVID period, that the functionality of our health system was found wanting, the referral system is no longer working, and by making this delivery mechanism review, it would change the whole ball game. And also, Right Honourable Speaker, reviews can be done by the board every 5 years. So they say the good of the eating is in the pudding. So when we test it is when we can know, after all, Uganda was about to become an odd man out in terms of not operationalizing the health insurance scheme when neighbors are already moving ahead of us. Honourable Speaker, the challenge of this country again and Parliament, I have refused to start taking the role which is not of a member of Parliament. And I wouldn't want those coming in the next Parliament to carry on to become competitors of government. You cannot replace government. Our role is to appropriate, is to represent, is to legislate in and do oversight. So by doing this, we are relieving members of again promising ambulances which are not functional, which are very costly and sometimes very risky, because that should not have been our role in the first place. So I think, Honorable Speaker, the private sector should not gag. The private mandate persons in public offices should not, those who are speaking for the common man. And I think this bill, the spirit is to speak for the common man. We must stand proud, support it, and I would like the related government funding to make sure that it works this time around and we can give hope. Instead of discussing SAGE, we would rather discuss issues like health insurance scheme, because I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Jackie Amangin. Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I would like to add my voice on the honorable members to the committee for this wonderful bill, the National Insurance Bill. It's one of the bills that I think should have come even prior. And I would like to lay our fears because I was a bit perturbed when this very bill was proposed for withdrawal. And I think that this is something that is good for the communities that we represent. Right, Honorable Speaker, as you realize, the health sector is one of those sectors that is still very wanting in terms of service delivery to the people. It's even worse when we are talking about phasing out health center tools, because these health sector tools have been working with the communities. Now, when you're phasing them out and you're talking about health center threes, it means health services are going to be very far from the people. I want to give an example of an area in my district where I come from. The whole of Agirigiroi, sub-county in Ngora district, does not have an health center 3. Now, when you're even phasing out health center 2s, they have never seen an health center 2. So a health insurance is an opportunity for this community. Right, Honorable Speaker, it's very perturbing for me when I look at a withdrawal of a bill which has been pre-tested, stakeholders consulted. You look at other countries like Ghana, countries like Kenya, very many countries that are practicing health insurance. It's very working, and it's working very well. I would implore the government that I represent in this house, the government that I serve, to take this bill in a positive manner and to look at this bill as a bill that is going to act for the interest of a common person.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Yes, we understand the minister indicated that she wants to withdraw. But this House passed to continue. Now the minister has run away in protest. Right, Honorable Speaker. Are we proceeding well when somebody who is supposed to report, who is supposed to handle this, is running away when we are handling such a very important matter?
She didn't tell me where she was going. Where has she gone? She has left. Where is her bag? Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Minister, we will read the Hansard. And this should not, yes, this should not stop, because we cannot force her to be here. But that should not stop us from proceeding and doing what we have to do, and she will read the Hansard. So, Right Honorable Speaker, for me, I would like to suggest that we proceed. Thank you.
Let's hear from the Minister of Finance.
You will represent the minister.
Madam Speaker, the Minister of Health moved the motion to withdraw the bill, and the House rejected the request. you requested her to move the motion to the second reading. She declined. So I think Parliament, in your wisdom, you can move on. We shall take notes and then see what else we can do.
Let us proceed. Honorable Amongin.
Okay, thank you so much. And like members have said, I think it is very important for government to take this in a positive way and appreciate the role of Parliament as well. However, I want to focus my presentation in regards to the National Insurance Bill. And right, Honorable Speaker, before I was interrupted, I was talking about countries that have excelled, that have done well in terms of national insurance health bill. And it's the same thing that Uganda should have borrowed. And I think that we are moving in the right direction. My prayer is that now that the minister had proposed that this bill be withdrawn, we pray that even when Parliament passes this, the President of the Republic of Uganda assents to the said bill so that it serves the interests of the people and it will be addressing issues in regards to health. In case of any challenges as a government, we can always address them as we move forward. Otherwise, this bill is well supported on behalf of the people whom I represent in Ngora to May. I think it is for their interest and it will be taken in good faith. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Honorable Sengo, Amede, Kunihira, Kamateka. Okay, Achona, then we end with the law.
I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And I also thank the committee for having presented such a good report. Madam Speaker, many of us may not be aware of what is happening in the rural areas. We are really having a problem because of poor medical services for people in the countryside. Every day that I spend in my constituency, I get almost 20 to 30 people coming to me for money to go for medical treatment. Just because they don't have the money and just because the facilities in our health centers are very poor. I want to appreciate the government for so many health centers that they have constructed. But the problem is there are no drugs in those centers. So, Madam Speaker, if the solution is an insurance scheme to help our people, then let it be. The way the minister behaved gave me the impression that the government was moving cautiously because they didn't have money. I would even propose, Madam Speaker, that if need be, let the government make an appeal to Ugandans for voluntary contributions to this scheme so that we can help our poor people who cannot afford these services. Madam Speaker, one of the reasons why the NRM government is losing popularity in the countryside is because of the poor service delivery on the medical side. I'm sure by passing this bill, we are actually sending a gift to the people of Uganda. Wherever we went, when we were doing our campaigns, people were complaining about lack of drugs in health centers. So, Madam Speaker, I'm of the view that let's take a bold step, introduce this scheme, be able to help our people, and be able to make even our government popular, because this has been a sticking problem in our administration. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support and I thank you.
Amede, Kunihira, Kamateka, Achon, and the Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I would like to thank the committee for the report. I would like to request the government to accept this bill abate the challenges, the government still has latitude to improve the bill. Insurance schemes come with a lot of benefits, and that is what I want to concentrate on, especially the use of ICT, which has more and more benefits in our health management system. The ICT will improve on data management. Insurance schemes work on tenets such as stratification. Stratification will cause more investment in primary health care. Before people actually get sick and go to hospitals, the problem starts in the community. How do they get information, and which is the nearest place they will be able to get medication? And what are the causes of sickness? Once those are addressed, we have fewer people going to hospitals. So that becomes a plus when a health insurance scheme is being implemented. It also brings sanity into our referral systems. These days, it is very difficult for people to get treatment and improve. Some people actually in the villages give up treatment and resort to local medicines, and even consequently die because of poor referral systems. A good referral system will improve on continuity of treatment. Insurance systems emphasize performance. Performance in our health systems will be measured, feedback constantly given, therefore investment for money. Worries about financing are unfounded. In this country, there is no free medical care. People in the countryside are paying dearly. It would be very good for a person to sell their piece of land, to sell their cattle, when they are going to get value for money. For instance, every week, as a member has already alluded to, it hardly goes when a member has to contribute lots of money to medical care.
Then Honorable Kamateka Achon, and then Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the committee for the report. Madam Speaker, my concern will be on the implementation. We support the principle, but from what is in the bill right now, it puts all the burden to the salaried workers. And I think workers are part of the stakeholders that had resisted the scheme. Workers of this country are already burdened with pay as you earn, NSSF, now also the medical scheme. I'm happy I've listened to some members, they are talking about the constituency members. Maybe at the committee level, we shall find a way of how we are going to amend that every able Ugandan should contribute to this scheme so that the benefits cut across. Maybe if we take what Honorable Sama has mentioned, the Masai model, that everyone should contribute, which is not in the law. I would like to support.
What is the order? Honorable Shabe.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether the member representing workers has read the bill, but the bill provided for all Ugandans, able Ugandans, make a contribution. I know the member maybe wants workers not to take part in this because they already have insurance schemes where they are working from. But I want to think, Right Honourable Speaker, what the member is saying is different from what is in the bill. Is she in order, Madam Speaker, to insinuate that it is only targeting workers, yet the bill is widely covering everybody?
Members, we shall get to that when we go to the committee stage, when you're studying clause by clause. If we find it stressful to some areas, we'll see what to do. Please proceed.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I have read through. I know they are talking of self-employed. My concern here is that every Ugandan, it should be put in the law. Whether you are going to pay 10,000 or how much, it should be in the law. It shouldn't be optional. That's what I'm praying for, and I'm looking forward when it comes to the committee level. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Kamateka, the Honourable Achon, Honourable the Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to thank the committee. Right Honourable Speaker, it was so sad listening to the Minister wanting to withdraw this bill because Ugandans have waited for so long for this health insurance scheme. And indeed, as the former Minister of Health has confirmed, we have engaged widely. The Minister of Health was worried that a few of the employers have not been consulted. But we consulted widely. And in any case, you cannot have the support of everybody. Right Honourable Speaker, even in that chair in which you sit, you ask those who want to say aye, those who want to say no, and we say what we want. But those with the prominent voice carry the day. So democracy is a game of numbers, and we cannot have everybody. So it is right and proper that we put this scheme in place, and the few who are still objecting will be drawn on board. Right Honourable Speaker, the essence of the scheme is contributory, and to mobilize resources from those who have to those who do not have, so that those who have subsidize for the masses who do not have much. We cannot, honourable members, I do not think that the Rwandese citizens are more financially empowered than Ugandans. They started where we were, but now they have become more financially empowered because of having the health contributory scheme. And so we would like to see Ugandans engage in this scheme, and indeed to request that government does listen and will progress. It is only a healthy population that can engage in meaningful production for socio-economic development. And as members have noted, our health facilities are in such a bad state, and our people are still asked to pay so much money when they fall sick. So they are asked for things like even surgical blades, even gloves, even a plastic cavera for women who are going to deliver. But all these, the essence of the scheme is that it would standardize the service, and all these would be provided for. Up to now, people are being asked to go and buy Panadols. Drugs appear in the hospital, are delivered to the hospital today or health clinic, and the following day, people are being asked to pay. Medical examination, people are asked to go and pay outside. Just a minute.
1 minute to conclude.
So this will deal with, the scheme will deal with corruption, because it will be standardized. There will be sharing of information through the ICT section, and it will enhance ownership. The people know that this is our scheme, these are our services, and so they will be able to monitor these services and supervise them and get quality services. It enhances the self-worth of Ugandans and dignity, just as it has done for the populations surrounding us in the neighboring countries. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I support this bill, and it should pass as soon as possible, and government should not fear, because the money will come from the people themselves. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Chon, then the Leader of Opposition.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I would like to support the committee report. Madam Speaker, as we are aware, he or she who is healthy can do anything you want. Health is so important in human life. Let me give the scenario 2 days ago in Otuke, where a truck carrying over 30 people, and it fell and everyone got accident. Out of 30 people, 8 died instantly. When we talk about insurance is great, but the condition in this country where we don't have rural area, you don't have part of it, you don't have a health center well built. You don't have medical equipment. If you see Otuke is 300 kilometers or plus to Kampala, you find somebody who has a bone fracture has to be driven all the way to Mulago. And then you find we as a politician, each and every second we are being called to rescue our voters, our community. We have a big challenge in this country. Because people are so poor, you find somebody who has not been checked well, because he can't afford, he would just go and buy Panadols and then start taking Panadols because he want to get rid of that pain, because he cannot afford the medication. So I would request this government, Honorable Speaker, this topic won't sound well again next year or on 11th Parliament to be brought on the floor of Parliament, and then we keep discussing. I think the country will go nowhere if we keep talking about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Our country is said to be developed if its maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate goes down. But when we have this mortality rate very up high, as it is the case with us, then it means that we should do a little more in health than what we are doing right now. Anybody who said this bill is not to be brought now, what is the alternative to improve on our health status? One thing we must know is that all of us here in Parliament are under health scheme, insurance health scheme. Why are we denying the voters, those who vote for us? We should not deny them getting into national health insurance. So this bill should have been prioritized a long time ago. So I would like to thank the committee very much for working so hard to bring this bill. And we should pass this bill in this 10th Parliament, not to wait for 11th Parliament. First, when we look at Health Center 2 and Health Center 1, they are not so functional, and yet Health Center 1 is also very important, even when it doesn't have an infrastructure. The infrastructure there is either a big home or under a big tree where people can collect. This is where education, health education will be given to the people. People will understand this health, national health insurance when we give them health education, and they will actually be very happy instead of, going to struggling all the time. Leave alone us as leaders, as members of Parliament, carrying all the burden the problems of health in our constituencies, on our heads. But we also want improvement in health services to our people, because health is wealth. When our people are healthy, then they are wealthier, because they will be engaged in productive activities. So I am so surprised that my honorable friend, the honorable minister, the honorable colleague, who I started knowing her when we were Secretary Health in local government. She was Secretary Health in...
Okay, half a minute to conclude.
She was Secretary Health in her district, so she should be very happy to take this. When I visit Gulu Regional Referral Hospital, I feel so hurt. The last time I visited, I found even the children suffering from sickle cells. They have to go and, they have to pay a lot of money outside in clinics and in private health facilities. I think this will also actually come to address such issues. And yet these sickle sellers are usually from very, very poor people. So, members, I pray that we should go straight to make sure that this bill is passed. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Other members, I was just looking at some publications. Apparently, Uganda was one of the first countries to develop its 2015, 2016 to 2019-2020 National Development Plan in line with the SDGs. And SDG number 3 is good health and well-being. So if it is part of our plan, we cannot afford to waste time. I now put the question, that the question be put. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. I put the question that the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill be read for a second time. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Have it.
The National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019.
Committee stage.
Bills committee stage. The National Health Insurance Scheme Bill, Clause 1.
This might be. Members, I put the question that clause 1 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2?
No, go to clause 3.
Clause 3.
Members, yes. Anything on clause 3, Chair? Put the question that clause 3 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Clause 4?
Yes, Madam
Yes,
Chair.
okay.
The committee proposed that we redraft Clause 4A to read as follows. To develop a national health insurance as a complementary mechanism of healthcare financing in Uganda. And justification is that health insurance is not the only mechanism of financing healthcare in Uganda.
Members, put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
Questions clause 4 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye.
Clause 5.
Madam Chair, clause 5, the committee proposed that we insert the following new sub-clauses. 1. Register members and beneficiaries of the scheme. 2. Design and implement the health benefits package delivery mechanism. 3. Formulate and issue guidelines on contributions, quality assurance, and health service provider arrangements. Justification is to provide for other critical functions of the scheme.
The question is that clause 5 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 5 as amended.
Question is that clause 5 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 6.
Put the question that clause 6 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Put the question that clause 7 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Honorable Chair, there's something.
Madam Chair, clause 8, the committee proposed that we replace it with the following. Establishment of the board. The board of directors shall be the governing body of the scheme and be responsible for the general direction and supervision of the scheme. 2. The board shall be composed of 9 directors as follows. The chairperson appointed by the minister and 8 members. 3. The directors shall consist of A. The permanent secretary of the ministry responsible for finance, the ministry responsible for gender, labor and social development, and the ministry responsible for health, or his or her representative not below the rank of a principal officer. B. Representatives from trade unions, the National Organization of Trade Unions, and the Central Organization of Free Trade Unions. C. A representative of the National Social Security Fund. D. A representative of the private health insurance providers. E. A representative of the Federation of Uganda Employers. F. A representative of the Insurance Regulatory Authority. 4. The Chief Executive Officer shall be the Secretary to the Board. 5. The Minister shall appoint the members mentioned in subsection 3D from among 3 persons nominated by the Uganda Private Medical Practitioners Association. 6. In appointing or nominating persons to constitute the board, the appointing or nominating authority shall take into consideration the following. A. Qualifications of the proposed members of the board. B. Professional rank. C. Competence and experience in medicine, law, finance, actuarial studies, or health and social insurance mechanisms, or any other relevant areas. And D. Equity and gender. 7. For purposes of this section, nominating authority means the head of the organization from whom representation is to be made to the board, and B. The appointing authority means minister. 8. The members of the board shall be appointed by the minister on such terms and conditions as shall be specified in the instrument of appointment. Justification: to have an all-inclusive board representing diverse disciplines and sectors of stakeholders, and 2. To ease administration.
The Minister of Finance to be taking note. This is a government bill, so that you will assist us.
Chair, on 3, on the amendment 3D, 5, the minister shall appoint the member mentioned in subsection 3D from among 3 persons nominated by the Uganda Private Medical Practitioners Association. Mr. Chairman, why don't we ask the association to appoint 1 person instead of submitting 3 names to the minister. Why don't we have one? The association sits and they appoint one person to represent them. Why do you subject them to the minister?
Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, the minister appoints all these members of the boards based on nomination, but we thought since it is a wider group, we could give him or her leverage to do the appointment. That would make it easy.
Yes, ministers of you. Let's hear from the Minister of Finance.
Madam Chair, I want to agree with my brother Patrick that the Association of Medical Practitioners can nominate their representative on the board directly rather than nominating 3, then the minister chooses 1. Because in most of the laws that were passed here, which require like constituency representation, they normally second 1 person. And if the minister has a problem with that, he deals with 1 person, but rather than allowing the minister to choose within the 3. So we can amend that if the chair agrees, so that we say there will be a representative of the Uganda Medical Association instead of having 3 to be chosen from.
Madam Chair, on behalf of the team, I concede.
Okay, so can we have it reformulated? Are you? No, let's do this. Let's finish this.
Okay.
Can you reformulate it?
Honorable Nsamba, can you reformulate your proposal?
Because we have all agreed.
Madam Chair, I propose that we delete 5.
No. You don't delete 5. You change it to say the professional private medical practitioner shall submit 1 nominee to the minister, something like that.
Madam Chair, they have already been highlighted up in 3. And they've just said that the director shall consist of the following. And they have indicated that a representative of the private health providers. Okay. So when we delete 5, right, Madam Chair, we lose nothing.
Yes, it is redundant. I agree.
Nominated by the association or something? What? How do we get
Chair.
that person?
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, I was suggesting that we could actually just retain that 5, but simply say the minister shall appoint a member as nominated by the Private Medical Practitioner Association. That's all. Because they would have already come with a member, and the minister just appoints that particular member without going for 3.
Okay, maybe, yes, Minister.
Where we have in the formation of the board, we are saying the board shall be, let me have a look at the board. Shall consist of the following.
Yes.
So we should only include the representative of the Uganda National Medical Association. I think that's the point you wanted to.
No.
Uganda Private Medical.
Okay, yeah, Uganda Private
Health
services providers. So it's already there. So we don't have to. The subsequent proposal was just explaining. So, which I think we should delete and then maintain the upper one.
So the presumption is that the minister will write to the association and they'll give a name.
That's the practice we have, yeah.
Since my senior, Madam Speaker, since my senior minister here for finance mentions of one, but I remember in cabinet when this matter of the board came, there were names taken to the minister and others were rejected on the grounds that they were not from they were not from the right association. So I see this one coming to this stage. If they had 3, then the minister has room to scrutinize the nominating one who can be rejected by this. Because remember, these ones come from different shades. We can have medical practitioners who go through ranks, and there are those, like the one who was rejected on the grounds that they didn't have qualification, and representing a block of these medical practitioners. I thank you.
Madam Chair.
Chair. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I think we should be specific in the law. It is normally the practice. When we say a representative of the health care professionals, that is what is stated here. But it is a practice which we should not put in the law. Normally, because of the issue of gender, the minister writes to the different bodies and asks for 2 names so that we can accommodate the issue of gender. But it should not be in the law. So for us, we should simply state what was said, that a representative of the healthcare professionals, and we stop at that.
You want us to delete subclause 5? Is that okay? Okay, on members' questions that subclause 5 be deleted, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it. And I put the question that clause 8 be amended as proposed, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it.
Clause 8 as amended.
Questions at clause 8 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it.
Clause 9.
With the question that clause 9 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 10.
Clause 10, I put the question that...
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes, clause 10. The committee proposed that we delete clause 10, 4C, and the justification was to cure ambiguity. If you look, clause 10 talks about tenure of office, and 4 says that the minister may anytime remove from the board a member, and C says a member can be removed from misbehavior or misconduct, which is rather ambiguous. It is non-specific.
Members, the question is that subclause 4C of clause 10 be deleted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it. I therefore put the question that clause 10 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it. There's a new clause, Honorable Chair.
Yes. Insertion.
Clause 11.
No, there's a new clause.
The committee proposed that we insert a new clause. Insert a new clause after clause 12 after. So I think it comes after 11.
Oh, okay. Clause 11. Put the question, the clause 11 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 12.
Put the question that clause 12 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
So the insertion therefore comes after clause 12, yes, which functions of the board. The board shall A, ensure the effective implementation of the policies of the scheme, B, manage the scheme in accordance with the Act, C, cause to be carried out audits of the funds of the scheme, D, determine the mission and strategy of the scheme, E, appoint and evaluate the chief executive officer of the scheme, F, ensure the proper management and protection of assets of the scheme, and D, carry out any other function as may be necessary to meet the objects of the scheme. Justification is to provide for critical functions of the board, and 2, to provide for the core functions of any board.
On the members' question, the new clause introduced as proposed, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 13.
Put the question that clause 13 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 14.
Put the question that clause 14 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 15.
The question that clause 15 do stand part of the bill.
Clause 15, Madam Chair. The committee proposed that we insert a new subclause 7 under clause 15 as follows: that the board may delegate any of its powers or functions to a committee established under this section. Justification to provide for delegation of powers.
Honourable members, the question is that clause 15 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 15 as amended.
Question is that clause 15 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 16.
Put the question that clause 16 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 17.
Honourable Chair.
Clause 17. A, replace the word minister appearing in the second line of the clause with the word board. Justification to ensure that the CEO is appointed by the board and not the minister. B, delete the word health appearing before the word insurance in the second line of the clause. Justification to provide for a wider scope of experience.
No members, put the question that clause 17 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 17 as amended.
Put the question that clause 17 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 18.
Clause 18, replace the word secretariat appearing in clause 18 1b with the word scheme. To specify, justification is to specify that the property of the scheme belongs to the scheme and not to the secretariat.
Honourable members, the question that clause 18 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 18 as amended.
Question is that clause 18 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 19.
Honourable Chair, 19.
Clause 19. Insert after clause 19 3c the following new subclauses: D, abuse of office; E, corruption; F, failure to attend 3 consecutive scheduled meetings of the board without reasonable excuse; and G, conviction of an offence involving moral turpitude. Justification to provide for other reasons for the removal of the chief executive officer.
Members, the question is that clause 19 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 19 as amended.
Question is that clause 19 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 20.
Put the question that clause 20 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause.
Madam Chair, yes, the committee proposed that we insert a new clause before clause 21, talking about government obligations in the National Health Insurance Scheme. Government shall one, take all practical measures to ensure the provision of basic medical services to the population. 2, ensure that all Ugandans have access to health services. 3, provide health facilities and opportunities necessary to enhance the welfare of women, to enable them to realize their full potential and advancement. 4, to ensure that no child is deprived of medical treatment for any reason. 5, take appropriate measures to ensure that persons with disabilities realize their full mental and physical potential. 6, develop and implement the scheme. 7, promote awareness of the scheme. And 8, provide adequate funding for the scheme. Justification to provide for the continuing state obligations in the health sector, in addition to introduction of health insurance financing mechanisms.
Now, members, I put the question that a new clause be introduced as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 21.
Put the question that
clause 21.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Yes, committee proposed that A replace clause 21(1) with the following. Subject to this act, any person who has attained the age of 18 years and who is a citizen and resident in Uganda shall be liable as a contributor to the fund in accordance with this section. Justification to provide for persons liable to contribute as citizens and residents. In clause 21(2), replace the word board with the scheme. Justification, the scheme is responsible for collection and receipt of funds. C, to insert a new sub-clause immediately after 21(3) as follows. The government will be liable to make contributions on behalf of indigents. Justification to provide that government pays for indigent persons. And D, insert a new sub-clause in clause 21 immediately before sub-clause 4 as follows, that an employer shall remit 50% of the member's contribution to the scheme. Justification to ensure that the employer contributes to the employee's health insurance costs.
Members, I put the question that, yes, Honorable Minister.
Chair, the chairperson of the committee has provided for those ones who are not gainfully employed, but I see this one as one of the impediments because there are quite many. If we are grappling with the SAGE, where we have very few old people who are supposed to earn only 25,000, and we say here we come up with a clause that government will pay for all those ones who are not gainfully employed. I see this one as putting a big burden to government, which may be rendered redundant because government may not be in position to pay for all that money.
Honorable Chair, what do you say about that?
Madam Chair, there are categories of people who are supposed to be catered for by the government, and those are the below 18, those are the indigents, and those are the senior citizens. So I suspect the category he's talking about is in that group. But also, that group, the responsibility is also within the bill given to the government to determine who is an indigent and make a proper description of who that person should be.
And Procedural Speaker, this bill has been with us for quite some time, and no bill is brought to this Parliament unless it has a certificate of financial implication. Therefore, since the Minister was aware of all this information in this in the bill and also in the report, that issue of financial implication should have come for. So I think, Right Honourable Speaker, this is a matter which is taking us backward. The bill is already being processed. We cannot talk about financial implication at this stage.
Members, I put the question that a new clause be introduced as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 21 as amended.
Put the question that clause 21 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 22.
Put the question that clause 22 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. But Clerk, I think the other one was a new insertion. Okay, we agreed with that and then we went 21. Okay. Clause 22, put the question, clause 22 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 23.
Put the question on the clause 23, do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 24.
Put the question on the clause 24, do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 25.
Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, clause 25, the committee proposed that we insert the following new sub-clause before clause 25(1). A member of the scheme shall be registered as such by the scheme. Justification to provide for registration of members of the scheme.
Members, I put the question. The clause 25 do stand part of the bill. Those in be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 25 as amended.
Questions that clause 25 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 26.
Honorable Chair.
Clause 26, the committee proposed that A, replacement of the word patient appearing in clause 26(4) with the word contributor. Justification, the use of the word patient is not appropriate since the Act makes arrangements with contributors, not with patients. B, replace clause 26(5) with the following. The minister shall by regulation made within 6 months of coming into force of the Act, make regulations to determine and register persons who qualify as indigents, and a person so registered shall have access to the benefits specified in the Schedule 1 of this Act. Justification, indigent persons should be determined and registered with immediate effect upon coming into force of the Act if they are to benefit from the scheme.
Members have put the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 26 as amended.
Question is that clause 26 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 27.
Honorable Chair.
Clause 27, insert a new sub-clause immediately after clause 27(4). The board shall determine a payment mechanism to be used to pay an accredited health facility provider for services rendered to a beneficiary. Justification to provide for the payment mechanism to be employed in paying health service providers.
Members have put the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 27 as amended.
Question is clause 27 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. Clause.
Yes, a new clause.
Okay.
Insert the following new clauses after clause 27. First, portability of benefits. The benefits under this Act shall be accessible from any accredited health service provider in Uganda in accordance with regulations issued by the Minister. 2. The board shall prescribe the procedure of accessing specified healthcare benefits outside Uganda, and justification is to provide for choice of health service provider that was not provided for in the bill. The choice of health service provider is the second. A beneficiary requiring health care under this Act shall choose from the list of health service providers accredited to the scheme, and justification is to provide for portability of benefits that was not provided for in the bill.
Members put the question that a new clause be introduced as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Clause 28.
You're finished. What about the second?
Insert a new clause. I think that's
Another
a
new clause?
continuation. Yes.
Okay.
Funds of the scheme. 1. There is established the National Health Insurance Fund into which the funds of the scheme will be kept. 2. The funds of the scheme shall consist of all sums received by the scheme in respect of 1. Contributions made by government. 2. Contributions made by members of the scheme. 3. Income on investment. 4. Fees, fines and penalties. 5. Interest on dues. And B. Monies appropriated by Parliament for the functions of the scheme. C. grants received by the scheme with the approval of the minister and the minister responsible for finance, and D, any other money as may with the approval of the minister and the minister responsible for finance be received by or made available to the scheme for the purpose of performing its function. And 3, the funds of the scheme shall be held by the board in trust for the contributors and the beneficiaries of the scheme, and shall be administered and controlled by the board in accordance with this act. And 4, all expenditure incurred for the purposes of the scheme shall be defrayed from the account of the scheme. Justification to provide for sources of funds for the scheme which were not provided for by the bill.
Now, Honourable Chair, I think we have a standard provision because we no longer allow schemes to look for their own money. They did that all money is appropriated by under the Public Finance Management Act. Minister of Finance, is that the position? We no longer allow.
Madam Chair, if I can beg your indulgence to give me the particular clause you are referring to.
I think it is C and D.
Grants, but we are approval from you.
Grants received by the scheme with the approval of the minister and the minister responsible for finance. Madam Speaker, we receive and approve grants according to the Public Finance Management Act. So I think maybe if we say the grants received under the scheme in line with the Public Finance Management Act, because we do, is when institutions receive grants, they first have to get approval from us. So the statement is okay, but I don't know whether we need to put it in the law like this. But D I think would not be appropriate. Any other money with the approval of the minister and the minister responsible. No, I don't think this is right. What is right is the grants and the others that I have stated here.
No, Chair, Minister, do the grants also come to Parliament?
The
grants. Do they come to Parliament?
Yes, they do. They are disclosed to Parliament.
The grants come to Parliament?
Yes.
So we don't need C and D?
We don't need C.
We would go under monies appropriated by Parliament.
Can I give you information?
Yeah, I think...
Minister, can I give you information?
Please, ma'am.
Chair, the grants the minister is talking about can be received but not directly by the fund. It goes through the ministry, and the ministry makes a request either through the budgetary system or through the supplementary system for approval by Parliament. But the scheme has no authority to receive grants directly and utilize it directly. It would offend the Public Finance and Management Act. That's my understanding.
Then in that case, we could allow the scheme to receive funds from source A and B.
Yes.
And then we stop there.
Yeah. So, Honourable Chair, it's our practice.
No.
Every money must come to Parliament.
We concede, Madam Chair.
Okay. Members, I put the question that subclause C and D be deleted. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. I submit. And now put the question that the new clause be inserted as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. I submit.
Clause 28.
Honourable Chair, 28.
Clause 28. The proposal is to replace clause 28.5 in clause 28.5 the word board with the word scheme. Justification is to provide for investment to be held in the name of the scheme, not in the name of the board. and be replaced clause 28(4) with the following. The revenue in the reserve fund shall be invested by the board on approval by the minister. Justification to ensure that the type of investment is specified and not just any investment is undertaken.
Members, I put the question that clause 28 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 28 as amended.
Question is that clause 28 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 29.
Put the question that clause 29 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 30.
Put the question that clause 30 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 31.
Put the question that clause 31 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 32.
Put the question that clause 32 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 33.
Put the question that clause 33 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 34.
Put the question that clause 34 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 35.
Put the question that clause 35 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 36.
Honorable Chair, there's something.
Clause 36. Insert a new sub-clause immediately after 36(2). Saying 3. The minister shall lay a biannual performance of scheme report before Parliament. Justification to ensure Parliament regularly oversees the scheme performance.
Members, I put the question that clause 36 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 36 as amended.
Put the question that clause 36 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. New clause, Honorable Chair.
Insert the following new clauses after clause 36. Financial year. The financial of the scheme shall be the financial year as defined in the Public Finance Management Act 2015. The second, financial management. 1. The use, disposition, investment, disbursement, administration and management of the funds of the scheme, including any subsidy, grant or donation received by the scheme, shall be governed by a resolution of the board. 2. The government of Uganda shall be the guarantor of the scheme. Compliance with the Public Finance Management Act 2015. The scheme shall comply with the Public Finance Management Act 2015 in the management of its funds. Justification to provide for financial provisions that were not provided for in the bill.
Members, I put the question that a new clause be introduced as proposed. Those in favor say aye. Yes, Honorable Chair. Minister.
Madam Chair, is it necessary to state that the fund, the scheme, will comply with the Public Finance Management Act when the Act is already there and we have already provided that the scheme is a government scheme, and we are saying all government money, all public resources are managed under the Public Finance Management Act. So is it necessary again to state it here in this law that we will comply with Public Finance Management Act for emphasis, or? Okay, I thought we are bothering the books of the law, but if we are not, then we can have it.
Okay. Honourable members, for the question that a new clause be introduced as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 37.
Put the question, clause 37, Honourable Chair, there is something?
Clause 37. The proposal is A, replace clause 37(1) with the following. A government hospital or privately owned health facility may subject to accreditation be a health service provider as provided for under section 38. and then B clause, delete clause 37(2). Justification to make it mandatory for all health facilities to be accredited before enrollment as service providers of the scheme. And 2, the quality of services and accountability is better guaranteed when all health service providers are subject to the same accreditation process.
Members, would the question that clause 37 be amended as proposed? Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 37 as amended.
Would the question that clause 37 as amended do stand part of the bill? Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 38.
Honorable Chair.
Clause 38, delete the term licensed person appearing in the first line of the clause 31. Justification, this is a consequential amendment. And B, delete the term licensed person in the second line, 38(2). It is also a consequential amendment. And C, insert 38(2) immediately after the word Pharmacy and Drug Act, the following words: Nurses and Midwives Act, Allied and Health Professionals Act. Justification is to include the other laws that regulate the health sector professionals. And D, replace clause 38(3) with the following: the board shall at least once every year at all district and sub-county local council notice boards in Uganda and in at least 3 daily publication, daily newspapers with wide circulation, publish a list of all the accredited health service providers. Justification is to provide for the publication of the list of accredited service providers at national and district level. And E, insert a new subclause after 38(4) as follows: a certificate issued under this section shall, upon satisfaction of the requirements under this act, be renewed every year by the board. Justification to align with the professional practice of renewal of certificates of practice. And 2, to allow the scheme the ability to deny renewal of certificate if the provider's services were unacceptable.
Members, I put the question that clause 38 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 38 as amended.
Put the question that clause 38 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. New clause?
Yes. Insert the new clauses after clause 38. Applications for accreditation. The board shall invite health service providers to apply for accreditation by notice through a medium that can reach all health service providers in Uganda. 2, a health service provider who meets the minimum accreditation requirements 4 may apply to the board. 3, the application for accreditation shall be in the prescribed form. Justification to provide for application for accreditation by health service providers. On minimum requirements for accreditation, the minister shall by regulation prescribe the minimum requirements for accreditation. Justification to provide for minimum requirements for accreditation which were not provided for in the bill.
No, Chair, maybe you need to remove the word for under 2.
Yes, I noticed while reading.
Please remove that word, and then now put the question that a new clause be inserted as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 39.
Clause 39.
Clause 39, replace 39(2)(b) with the following: B, 3 other members seconded respectively by the Uganda Medical and Dental Practitioners Council, the Pharmacy Council, and the Allied Professionals Council. Justification to clarify qualification requirements for the members of the accreditation committee.
Members, I put the question that clause 39 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 39 as amended.
Question is clause 39 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 40.
Put the question clause 40 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 41.
41, Honorable Chair.
41, to delete clause 41.3. Justification is redundant.
Put the question that clause 41 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 41 as amended.
Question is that clause 41 as amended do stand for part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 42.
Put the question that clause 42 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say 42?
Chair, clause 42. The common administrative structure in our country is a district. Here you are talking of regions. I don't know whether this will not cause challenges, because when you talk of a region, it's a very big geographical area. I would rather we put an arrangement where it will be through the local government, that's at district level.
But I know the minister wait, but let the chair tell us his views.
First, the sector, the ministry has about 14, I think 14, 15 regions in the country, which they monitor and supervise regularly, and they have specific responsibility, and they take particular districts, and they are centered, controlled at the regional referral hospital. So we thought, for purposes of first controlling the cost, we should first utilize the regions, and then subsequently, maybe if it is very manageable. It was mainly a cost issue that forced us to leave, because we had a big discussion on the districts, and it looked like it would be difficult to manage.
Chair. Yes.
Chair, this is a contributory fund, and being a contributory fund, the members are going to be mindful of the expenses. You are aware that right now we have 146 districts. Now, if we are to start with 146 offices, you can imagine, because every office will have the facilities to make it functional, it will be too costly to the fund. So I think for now, regional office would be appropriate, and in any case, just for coordination. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I would want the Minister to concede to that proposal.
Yes, Honourable.
Madam Chair, I think the Honorable Karubanga had a point that we are requiring our citizens to contribute, and they are going to be in many numbers. Now, if you have, for example, an office in Jinja, which is your regional center, Madam Chair, if somebody has an issue from Kamuli, imagine the expense you put again on the person to move from Kamuli to Jinja. Would rather have, that's what the proposal of Karubanga, if it was possible to have an office at the district in an affordable manner, but perform the function of facilitating the citizens of Uganda to address their issues regarding the scheme. But if you put it at the regional level, it might not do the function it's supposed to do. And even, it will even be more costly than having an office in an affordable manner. We have all the district health hospitals. We can have an office nearby. So if somebody has an issue, he can go to this office at the district rather than moving to the other side of the region.
What do you say about the structure of the regional hospitals?
Huh?
What do you say about the regional hospitals?
The regional?
The regional referral hospital, because we have regional referral hospitals, and I think they cater for issues in that region.
They do for the other health services, but this time we are moving toward serving an individual who is going to contribute to the scheme. And I think that the office, among other things, to attend the issues of the contributors to the scheme, rather than just serving the health services. Yes, Jova?
Oh, no, Jova?
Honorable Minister, this is a scheme that is just going to start. We are starting at national level, but we know that there will be problems. And so rather than have someone come all the way from Kabale to come to Kampala, at least you establish regional centers which will be reasonably managed financially, and then later you can roll down to the districts. I think we would be wiser to start with the regional centers, and then later, unless you want us to do, unless you want a provision to say later, it will move to districts, but I think it is not necessary. But Right Honorable Speaker, since I'm chair, I'm holding. Yeah, it's still the same. It says it is number what? 41, 43, 42. The board shall, as may be necessary, establish regional health insurance centers. Shall, and then as may be necessary. That combination of language, shall, mandatory, and then as may be necessary, is. I think we need.
Right, Chair.
I think so.
Madam Chair, I think whereas what the Minister is raising is quite important, but that's administrative. And I think the scheme, beyond what we state in the law, will be able to come up with mechanisms to serve the people. I don't think we can go as far as defining where and how they will put up an office at this stage.
But also,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I think the certificate of financial implications was for regions, not for districts. So I don't think we can even go there.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, additional information. Madam Chair,
I don't know where.
The health system we are running already is using a referral system which starts from a regional referral hospital. And also Article 178 of the Constitution mandated us more than 10 years ago to implement regional governments. So government, we have now got cities, and there are so many other attempts of regional government. So I would like to plead that we stay in the spirit of regional government, which have been vying for long, but it is a constitutional directive that we try to make these different regions with different regional peculiarities, which could even be medical in nature, that the delivery mechanism would well be checked at a regional center.
Madam Chair, I would like to add on what Honorable has said. I would prefer we propose that we go for sub-regions. For a person from Masindi to go to Mbarara, maybe when the regional office will be in Mbarara, it is even cheaper to come to Kampala. Maybe we can amend and we propose that we go for sub-regions, like Busoga region, Teso region. It will be more effective for someone to supervise that small sub-region.
Honour members, let's start with the regional referral hospitals, because those regions are already there, before we go to the smaller ones, please. Put the question that clause 42 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 43.
43, Honourable Chair.
Clause 43, delete clause 43E. Justification, the measure is too stringent. Like if you have a clinic at Parliament and the nurse misbehaves, the whole clinic is suspended from providing services, yet it was individual behavior.
Okay, Honourable, put the question that clause 43 be amended as proposed.
Those in favor say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 43 as amended.
Question is that clause 43 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 44.
Honorable Chair, 44.
Clause 44, in subclauses 1 and 7, insert the following headings for the offences prescribed respectively and create clauses for each subclause accordingly. Clause 44.1 to be changed to 44, then 44, false statement, 42B changed to 45, and then 45, misappropriation of funds or property of the scheme, and then C, clause 44.3 be changed to clause 46. 46, interference with scheme duties. D1, clause 44.4 be changed to clause 47.1. 2, clause 44B be changed to clause 47.2. Then 47, corrupt or fraudulent practice. E1, clause 44.6 be changed to 48.1. Clause 44.7 be changed to 48.2. 48, liability of management staff. Justification. This is the standardized way of providing for standalone offences provisions.
The members who put the question that clause 44 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no.
Clause 44 as amended.
Questions that clause 44 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 45.
Put the question that clause 45 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 46.
Put the question that clause 46 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 47.
Put the question that clause 47 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 48.
Put the question that clause 48 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 49.
Put the question that clause 49 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes
Clause 50.
Put the question that clause 50 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 51.
Put the question that clause 51 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 52.
Put the question that clause 52 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 53.
Put the question that clause 53 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 54.
Put the question that clause 54 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 55.
Put the question that clause 55 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 56.
Put the question that clause 56 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 57.
Put the question that clause 57 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 58.
Put the question
Madam
that
Chair,
58.
that we insert a clause after clause 57.
There's a new clause? Oh, okay. Okay, new clause?
Yeah, community-based health insurance schemes. So nothing in this act shall affect the existence and operations of community-based health insurance schemes, save the minister may issue guidelines for the proper function of the community-based health insurance scheme. Justification: to acknowledge the existence and give visibility to community-based health insurance schemes.
The members put the question that clause, a new clause be introduced as proposed. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 58.
I put the question that clause 58 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 59.
Put the question that clause 59 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
First schedule.
Put the question the first schedule do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it. Clause 1. Clause.
Second schedule. Second schedule.
Put the question that the second schedule do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. The contrary, no.
Third schedule.
Put the question that the
Frequency of once or as often as is necessary, the property is function. We are opening up. We realize that many boards will turn it into at first a sitting. Rather, we submit.
Yeah. Okay. The members have put a question that Schedule 3 as proposed. Those in favor say aye. With the question that amended do part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. The contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Clause 2. I believe there are no changes in the interpretation. Okay. Put the question that clause 2 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. The contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2.